inspired treasures, perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Looking for something different for family fun, a night out with friends, or your next team-building event? Try the escape rooms at Lilliput. Step into the haunted mansion, race to find a cure in the bunker, or survive Night of the Wolf, all with just 60 minutes to escape. It's private, immersive, and perfect for groups of all kinds. Book your adventure now, spots fill fast. Visit lilliput.net and see if your team has what it takes to escape.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 72. Then Tuesday, more hot sunshine with a high of 97. Grab your elegant box of French macarons at Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is located right off Highway 169 at 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or order online at nicolettesmacarons.com. Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight as I am back after a couple weeks off of being on vacation. And we had the station in general had a big showing at Twin Cities Pride this year. And I was one of the folks out there that was helping put it all together. We had a great time out there. It was really, really cool. And it's, I've said this before, and I've said this about after we did the Golden Valley Pride, that if you want to be put in a good mood and feel like you are cared for and loved, honestly, you need to go to a Pride festival, because I really feel like, and I've been doing this now for a number of years, I really feel like that this is a great way to just feel your worth. Everyone is in such a good, loving mood, and it was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate that. And we had Paul David Stanko on that. He's going to be back with us next week. We're going to be talking more about his new book. And over the course of my vacation, I was able to get a number of things done. I did a couple investigations. We're over at Divine Lights, and that was pretty incredible. And then we did our standing investigation over at the Pillsbury Club Mansion, and that on Friday was off the charts. That was absolutely incredible. There are people who've never investigated before, and what ended up happening is that they were absolutely floored by what they experienced. So we'll be talking more about that probably on Casual Friday. And then I was able to be a guest on a couple of shows over the course of my vacation. So all in all, it was really cool. Tonight, though, I've been excited. I've been excited about this for a while, and whenever we get on authors Monique Toosoon and Rob Gutro, and they have a new book, and what I love about these books is that they're looking at one location and a period of time that they do the investigation, and what they're getting out of these investigations is a lot. It changes people's lives a little bit. It changes the spirits a little bit. There's a lot going on here. And so tonight we're going to be talking about their newest venture. The book is called Haunting of Wilson Castle. Once again, it is written by authors Rob Gutro and Monique Toosoon. And I am so happy because I have both of them here with me tonight. Rob and Monique, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Hello.
Thank you, Greg.
Hello.
Good to be back.
It is always amazing to have you both on, and I really appreciate you coming on here and talking about the book, because I love these kind of real deep dives, because these are very personal stories. And I want to start with this. Monique, you had written about Wilson Castle. First and foremost, Wilson Castle is the single most important haunted location to me. And I find that there's more in there that you put into it, but I'd love to start off by kind of asking if you could explain what that means to you.
Yeah, so starting to do drag in the paranormal world was actually a lot harder than I expected. Being unique, what I thought was a superpower in the beginning, was kind of a push away moment for most locations. The paranormal world is deeply conservative, and I got a lot of flack, and I didn't get the support that I was expecting for being unique. And the castle was one of the first locations I reached out to that actually said yes. And I got to do an event at the castle, and I became family with the owner, Denise, and the caretaker, Andy. And it was the most accepting place I've ever been. And to this day, probably the best place to do events. They are the kindest people I have ever met. And they gave me my first chance. And it's something that I always say I'll never forget. And if I ever make it big or make a lot of money, I'm putting air conditioning in the castle.
and I don't want to be rude about other places, but not every place is as welcoming or caring as a place like Wilson Castle or other places that I've experienced, and I'm sure Rob has experienced beyond Wilson Castle. And I think that's something that is really important to bring up, and that they've just so accepting, and that they embraced you, basically, didn't they?
Yeah, and the ghost did too.
Which is equally, if not more important, right?
Yeah.
So Rob, and before Monique, I have to say too, I listened to your guest appearance on Splintered Spirits podcast, and that I just want to say I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed that, and people should check it out, because it's a very deep dive into kind of what you just said here was a little bit of like the grander conversation about kind of your journey being investigator, going as investigator in drag, and what it means to you. And it's very well said, and I really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you so much.
That's go check out Splinter Spirits. They're a great podcast. Rob, so what is Wilson Castle though?
Well, Wilson Castle is an amazing structure that was built in the late 1800s, and the Johnson family. Now, Monique knows much more about the history than I do, because
I'm asking the wrong person.
On the first time, but so I'm gonna just throw it open to her. But
you got the actual details. I might be able to tell the stories, but you got the details.
Okay. So John Johnson built this castle using his new wife's Sarah's fortune, and I don't know if she really asked for this castle. I got the impression she didn't, but anyway, there was I know it caused some consternation in the marriage, because it was called, sometimes it was nicknamed Wilson's Folly, or Johnson's Folly rather, when it was built. So ultimately they wound up splitting up, and the castle is pretty elaborate, really. What they did is they imported, I think, everything, including the bricks, from Europe. They brought in artisans from Germany to do wood carvings that are ornate and amazing. They brought in painters from Italy to paint the ceilings in what is the music room and other places. So when you walk into this castle, it's just breathtaking to look at the woodwork and the art, and of course there are statues and everything else. It's just beautiful, and they're restoring the castle, and that's one thing that the castle is the folks that Denise that owns the castle and Andy that curates the castle are working hard to do, and that's so visitors support this restoration, and we urge them to go because it's very haunted and it's very beautiful.
And where is this located?
In Rutland, Vermont.
Okay, in Vermont. Okay, all right. You never go anywhere near me to start with, and that's a problem. You can
always come to us.
Oh, that's one way of looking at it. I'm gonna be honest. So once again, the book is called Haunting of Wilson Castle, and what Rob is saying about how beautiful this place is. There's a number of images in this book that really illustrate that. I don't get me wrong. I'm positive that this doesn't even do it any justice whatsoever. But at least you get an idea. Especially like I'm looking at the picture of the veranda right now, and it's just beautiful, and it looks like it's kind of like a lot of open spaces around the castle too. It seems like. So
the castle is
really
neatly tucked in a neighborhood. So
like what kind of neighborhood are we talking about here?
So it's like a very natural neighborhood, like that you would see just driving down a normal road, and then all of a sudden there's a castle.
there's just a castle there out of nowhere.
The property is huge.
So like acreages and stuff around it then, or
probably in the front and the back. Sideways there's definitely houses that you can't see from through the trees, but they're there. I don't know about acreages. I don't know specifically how much. Rob probably knows.
Yeah, it's 115 acres.
Oh, there you go. That's a lot. Yeah.
So that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they had horse stables in one part, and then one of the owners, Colonel Wilson, built a radio tower in part of the property, and you can see rolling hills too in the distance.
Yes, yeah.
So
beautiful.
It's really amazing. One of the things about this book that I'm very thankful for is that Lourdes Gonzalez, who is of the Digital Séance Experience, she is an avid photographer, and she took pictures of every room. And she graciously allowed us to use those pictures in here so that readers can get a sense of what each room is that we went into. So to me, it's very important as a paranormal investigator and a reader of something that I'm not familiar with to actually be able to visualize it. So those pictures are really great.
It is. It's very helpful, and all these pictures really want me to do is come on out and check it out. Obviously, it's absolutely beautiful. Now, spirit-wise, okay, where do we begin with the story of the spirits at Wilson Castle? Because I'm struggling to know, because it seems like from the book that there's a lot of things going on here, a lot of spirits, a lot of different players, if you will. Where do we start with this?
Monique?
Johnsons.
And don't all go at once. I mean, my God.
So the Johnsons are the first spirits that you're going to come across in there, and John Johnson and Sarah Johnson are pretty prevalent in there, as well as Elliot, who is a child that is who I call my favorite ghost. He's very playful. He loves all the light up equipment and the toys I bring, and he's a pivotal part of this story. After the Wilsons, after the Johnsons, the Wilsons, there was a beauty school in there. There was a couple of other things, but the Wilson family only had one casualty on the premise. But some of the Wilson family does come back to visit us. Colonel Wilson, Blossom has come through, who is Denise's mom. I would believe that's the Colonel's wife. Her brother came through at this past investigation. There's a guy named Dick that passed away at the top of the stairs there. And he was like the party guy for the Wilsons, and he's there. But we also got a little trickery from the beauty school that night, which we never have before.
So is there a beauty school in there? Was in there? What do you mean?
We don't really know a lot about the beauty school. There's not a lot of documentation on it.
Okay.
It wasn't there very long.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but there's a bachorette party that came to the event that kind of played Alone Without Us, and they got a little story for the book.
Were they kind of trigger objects in a sense?
They were using a Ouija board.
Ooh, I see.
And they had no clue there was a beauty school. So for them to come up with something about a beauty school was kind of interesting. It's not part of the tour.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No, so
it's not when they connected, Greg, they said that they realized it was from someone who's teaching beauty, and something happened that they were pressed on nails.
Oh yeah.
To everybody at the same time.
Wow.
So
that's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. You both are going to convince me all this paranormal malarkey is real at some point. I'm going to really start believing this. No, I mean that's what it's about, isn't it? Getting that validation, and especially with people who don't know that it's even there to begin with. That had been really cool.
Yeah, and paranormal investigation is quiet sometimes, but we tend to have a lot of fun when we're together. And I think that when we're laughing, I think the spirits are a little bit louder on those evenings as well, and we tend to laugh a lot. Well, I'm in drag, so it's kind of funny watching me clunk around in platforms in a dress and get comfortable, and it kind of adds, a little flavor to the evening. And I think the ghosts kind of like the fact that they get to play with that too. So we do tend to have pretty wild investigations.
Well, and with a couple things with that, with you, when you're in drag, I mean, being there and there was a beauty school there, have you had any hits in terms of talking about like any sort of spirits talking about your makeup or your dresses or whatever else based on that beauty school background there?
I also own a hair salon, and the beauty school spirits have never reached out to me ever in the castle, but Colonel Wilson, who Denise, the granddaughter of Colonel Wilson, she'll describe him as the man at a party that would hit on anything with legs. And so Colonel Wilson has definitely harassed me. He's picked my dress up during a tour with people watching. So the back of my dress went up. He's told me what color dresses to wear. He just told me 2 weeks ago what color dress to wear to the next event. We have it on Staticom where Colonel Wilson tells me things about my dresses. He loves me.
And when he tells you about like what color of dress you should wear, do you oblige then?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know that's going to be a trigger object when I go back if I'm wearing the same color he chose. Absolutely.
And I do want to say real fast too, one of the things I find very interesting is that I'm finding this more and more because we do some real strong standing events now, and it's like, do you both feel like the more and more you go back to a same location, loose isn't quite the word I'm looking for, but maybe you'll understand what I mean. You do tend to have more fun, you try to have more fun, because part of it too is, you can't go, in my opinion at least, you can't go to the same location over and over again with people as an event and ask the same questions over and over again. You also, for your own sanity, want to give it some sort of spice or anything. Do either of you feel that at all?
The castle is kind of a weird location to begin with, and we don't typically get the same. We get the same people for sure, the same spirits, the same ghosts, but we don't typically get the same things on the same nights. We don't get everything all at once there. It tends to come in whenever it wants to. This past investigation we barely got anything from the book. We had more new spirits coming through that were weird, and we've had nights where it's all children that don't even belong to the castle's history. I find that it can change even when you go back to a location, but I tend to find that there are common energies, and you start to develop a feeling for them. Like, I know when Elliot's around now. Like, I feel Elliot physically. So that, like, you get to know the spirits there, and they get to know you, and they kind of become protective over you too.
I bet. Rob, what about you? I mean, and I think it's an interesting point that Monique brings up, of the fact that you obviously you create that sort of bond with the spirits there, and do you also think, because like Monique says, you go to these, you go to Wilson Castle, you're getting spirits that aren't necessarily attached to the location at all. Is
Mm-hmm.
it, do you think it's because you both are, the more and more you're there, the bigger beacons you start to become? So when you walk in, you're kind of saying basically open for business for all spirits.
Well, I do know that ghosts have the ability to sense who can sense them and
Right.
and want to interact with them. So some of the earthbound ghosts who chose to stay earthbound in other areas around the castle can sense that energy, and they can come over a short distance. And I think that's probably what's going on. But it's really like visiting somebody's house for the first time. Like when
Yeah.
I went, and then because we really have to think of them as living people.
Yep.
That's really the way that I look at it. And the first time I visited with Monique was August 2025, and all of this crazy stuff happened. The second time we went back this past June, and the ghosts, one in particular, let us know that he recognized us and he was not happy. But it's like going to somebody's house, and they will acknowledge you again when you come back. Other people, sometimes other people that will be in the house don't want to see visitors the second time, and I think that's why they stay away. They may not gel with the visitors. But in this particular instance, the very first time that I went with Monique and Lexi Duquette, who is a medium, and she knows what ley lines are, and she's a Reiki master, and she's just fantastic with everything. She was there, and the digital seance experience were there. And they used technology based on what Thomas Edison had devised.
Sure.
And they were critical, especially at the end, because everything we got during the evening, we sat at the end with them and asked the same questions that we had answers to already, and we got the same exact confirmations at the end. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Before we get too much further down the road here, I want to take a break here, get one of those in. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this book. We're going to talk more about experiences that happened to both Monique and Rob. The book, once again, is called Haunting of Wilson Castle. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstonempls.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Looking for something different for family fun, a night out with friends, or your next team-building event? Try the escape rooms at Lilliput. Step into the haunted mansion, race to find a cure in the bunker, or survive Night of the Wolf, all with just 60 minutes to escape. It's private, immersive, and perfect for groups of all kinds. Book your adventure now, spots fill fast. Visit lilliput.net and see if your team has what it takes to escape. So, have you made your way out to Lilliput yet? Because I don't want to hear the excuse that it's too warm to be outside, because first of all, Lilliput also has escape rooms that are climate controlled. So you don't have to worry about that when you're trying to figure out how to get out of the haunted mansion, the bunker, or Night of the Wolf. But also, you know, it cools off a little bit in the evening. You got to go out there, do the glow golf. That's pretty cool. There's go-karts, obviously mini golf. You got to check it out this weekend or this week, even if you have the kids. It'd be a perfect time to go out there. This is also a great way for like doing work parties and stuff like that, doing the escape room. It's really worth the time. Don't forget, Lilliput is located in Coon Rapids, Minnesota at 1349 Coon Rapids Boulevard. To get more information, go to lilliput.net and find out what they have going on over there. It's a lot of cool stuff. Speaking of cool stuff, we are talking tonight about The Haunting of Wilson Castle, written by authors Rob Gutro, Monique Toosoon, and I'd like to ask both of them, starting with you, Rob, how can people follow you and just be up to date with what you have going on?
I have a website and they have all kinds of social media links there. So robgutro.com or petspirits.com. And then you can find the social stuff there.
And I ask this every single time, and you think I would remember. And I ask literally every single time, do you sell your books through the website, or is that a link to Amazon?
It's a link to Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I cannot retain that very simple piece of information. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's not like we talk to hundreds of thousands of people. Oh,
well, you know, but you know, it's like every single time. It's just like, you know, you kind of like, come on, get with it. Do you have anything going on that you want to talk about or anything, Rob?
Well, I will tell you that because I'm here tonight, I'll just make this announcement that I'm going to reopen pet reading bookings until August 30th, so people can email me if they want a pet reading. I've stopped them back in December because we lost all 3 of our senior dogs.
Yes.
In 10 months, and I can't even get through my own grief. But the demand has been crazy, and because I'm here tonight, I will reopen them for a month and a half. And start booking.
That is fantastic. So you got to go to robgutro.com or petspirits.com for details. But once again, Rob is reopening the pet reading bookings until August 30th. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second because, you know, obviously this is very meaningful for me. But before I do so, I want to make sure that Monique gets in her socials so that people can follow her as well. And where are those, Monique?
Yeah, my name is Monique Toosoon on all social media, and MoniqueToosoon.com has a list of all my events. I currently am only doing 4 more events for the rest of the year. One of them is a book signing at the Mall of New Hampshire on July 25th. I'm doing The Castle with Rob on August 22nd, and we have a couple other special guests as well. And then we are both at the Maine Paranormal Horror Con on September 11th and 12th. And then I have one event that is being filmed as a documentary with Adam Berry, which is at Wilson Castle. And that's October 2nd and 3rd. And that is almost sold out.
And then what about your podcast?
I actually don't do it anymore. I am way too lazy to get into drag. It's too hot in the summer. So I have not been doing any drag.
so Glitter and Ghosts not happening at the moment.
No, currently MIA.
All right. See, that's what I have.
Different.
That's what happens when I ask people about stuff, and every single time they're like, "No, I don't do that anymore." So there you go. There you go. That's.
Well, I have more to share with you too. I haven't mentioned it. So at 3 hours after you and I talk, I'm going to be talking to Coast AM about pet spirits, and I think a certain cat named Linus is likely going to show up at that point.
Oh my goodness! Tonight you're doing Coast to Coast?
Yeah, so I'm going back to bed for a couple hours and then waking up again.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! So I want to talk about that real fast. And before that, Monique, was there any other places that you want people? Do you want to send people to, or
no? But I am. So I've kind of shifted focus. So I am only doing those last four events of the years, but I am also doing something that I only have been telling a few people about. I am working on my own line of ghost hunting equipment. So that's
nice.
A lot of the reason why I took a break from the podcast and stuff too. I'm focusing on a lot of crafting stuff right now to build.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that, because I want to talk about that with what you were doing at Wilson Castle. But before get it to that, one of the things that I was very honored about, and I have never had this happen before, that Rob reached out to me and said that, because both Monique and Rob each have a dedication to haunting of Wilson Castle, and Rob dedicated the book to me, which was I'm just really, that was incredible. And the best part about it is that Rob got something wrong, and my cat came to kind of let him know from spirit. Linus came to tell him that get it right, and get it right now. So
yeah.
He's great.
Fortunately, before it was before it went out finally, but yeah. So Linus is very strong, and Linus is still very protective of you in spirit.
Yeah, you could feel him, and you got to wonder. I've had over the last 3 weeks a lot of videos of Linus show up on my Facebook feed, like memories, including some I don't even remember taking. And I'm not saying that they didn't happen, but it was just really unique. So I what I think is also really special, Rob, is that talk about the bond that I have with Linus, but really it's the bond now that you have with Linus, which I think is really pretty special too. So I really love it. So yeah, that was cool. And thank you for dedicating to me. That was very kind.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's our pleasure. We've been on with you several times about all of our books. And you do have another one in the works for perhaps next year.
That's great. These are really good books. You know what I love about them too is that they're easily digestible. They're an easy read, and that doesn't mean that it's a quick read. I mean, because I'm not a quick reader, but it's a very nice way to spend some time and be involved reading about all things paranormal. Now, one of the things I want to talk about real fast is Monique, you love the tech side of things. I love the tech side of things. Did you have any particular, and I think I know the answer to this, but do you have any particular tech that either you're using, or you mentioned that some brought in tech that really stood out to you as like really working well at Wilson Castle?
Yeah, light up stuff, toys. Elliot loves lights. Tripwire is one of the best things I've used there. I've recently started bringing a My Little Pony with me that I got from another event that giggles when something walks in front of her, which is super creepy. We always bring Elliot toys and cars, but dowsing rods are always a major part of our investigations. We love Phasma Box radio because it is very clear. But we typically like to keep 1 or 2 REM pods, not a lot of noisy stuff, because we're really focused on just a couple of things.
And Rob, when we're talking about the tech side of things, being, that you are a very gifted medium, how does tech help you? Does tech help you, or what's your thoughts on it?
Oh my gosh, tech gives me the confirmations of things. So Lexi's also medium, and Lexi and I worked hand in hand in this particular investigation. And when we went back, actually, she wound up protecting me with Reiki because I needed it from one of the ghosts that I got angry. But the tech that comes through. So, for instance, we asked if John was in the room, John Johnson, and John Johnson tends to be a very disgruntled ghost. For reasons we found out, because in the book we uncovered his 100-year-old secret. So when Lexi and I had sensed John standing in the doorway as a shadow darker than the dark, Monique was able to get a confirmation through various pieces of equipment that he was in fact there. So tech plays a big role and especially in dowsing rods. Lexi was manning the dowsing rods, and she asks earthbound ghosts to cross them for yes and to spread them out for no. And we did the same thing with the Hunt Memorial Library. We used the dowsing rods, and they were critical to get the answers. And we don't sit there and just ask them one question. In the Hunt Memorial Library book, I think we asked like 23 questions to George, the ghost that was up there, and we were doing the same thing at Wilson.
Yeah, that's I love that. Now, as you brought up earlier, the digital seance experience. First of all, it sounds like a great 70s band. The digital seance experience. I think that would work really well. What is that though? I've heard of it before. I know who runs it, but for those who don't know, what is that?
Do you want me to say it or you? So I'm going to say it pretty dumbed down. It is live white noise slowed down, and you're hearing what's coming through that live white noise. So it is in the moment live EVPs that you can hear, and they connect it to speakers. And if you want to see some interesting ones, go on their YouTube, because it's clear as day full sentences coming out of this thing. I've never heard a radio talk like this, but you can't buy it. It's not something that you can buy. You have to buy the people that come with it.
Right, because it's not just something that you turn on, right? That there's a lot that goes into getting the results that you get.
Yeah, it requires a whole table setup. It's a couple of computers. It's a speaker. And it's one of the coolest things. The first time I heard it, my mind was blown by how clear the wording and the sentences were in it.
That sounds really great. And is that created by Lords and Ron?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Surprisingly, I've never had them on the show. I should really do that sometime.
You should. They're wonderful people.
They are. I know them. I think I know Ron a little bit more. I think I met them both in Connecticut at one of the Warrens conventions or something like that. So no, that's really cool. And the light up stuff, I've got to say real fast, the light up stuff that you talked about earlier, Monique, is one of the things that I really loved more and more is, and it's starting to work more and more for us, is one of the tripwires. I really, really like that. And I like it. And I make a joke to spirits all the time when there's like, can you please light it up? Because it's actually very expensive. And I'd like to see that it lights up, because it's not cheap. So it's like, come on, please. So I'm glad it's working a little bit more. So yeah, no, that's pretty incredible. So for the book itself here, once again, the book is called Haunting of Wilson Castle. How many times how many investigations put together to make this book?
One.
Is it just one? Is that kind of the way you all do it? Because I mean, it seems like the last couple seem to be like just one investigation. Is that kind of how you like to do it?
Well, the stories from the castle kind of, there are pieces of information in the book, obviously, that have come from past investigations, but most of the book is about this. But because it's a location we keep going back to, the book is going to keep filling in blanks. We're going to have, who knows? Like we just said, we may have another book in the horizon there.
Yes.
I think that's awesome. Why don't we do this? I want to get, go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, typically, we go in together in this one, and then if Monique has been there before, I'll draw on her experience with other things and then fill in some of the things. But for the most part, it's one. Hunt Memorial was a little different. We had to actually go back because there was a ghost we never got a chance to address, and we addressed him when we went back together. So.
No, that makes, and that's just it. Sometimes you have to fill in the pieces, right? Or try your best to fill in the pieces, especially if you feel like they can. I've had to do that for a couple things that I've worked on where it's just like, nope, I need to go back. I think that's great. Can I get another break in here real fast? When we come back, first of all, we're going to talk more about the book, which is called Haunting of Wilson Castle. Also, folks, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. We will get to them. And anything that you want to say, put it in there as well. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstoneMPLS.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. It's that time of year where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lily Putt is open for the season, and you know what that means. Lily Putt is known for its mini golf, go-karts, glow golf, jump pads, kiddie carts, gem mining, and even a new arcade. Lily Putt also has interactive and engaging escape rooms like the Haunted Mansion, the Bunker, or Night of the Wolf. Lily Putt is perfect for parties and group events. Stop by lilyputt.net for more information and hours of operation. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursions to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to the AndersonHouseHotel.com. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We welcome back author. Let me get myself figured out here for a second. We welcome back author Paul Blake Smith. We're going to be talking about his newest book, The UFO Bombshell Before Roswell. We talk about Roswell always, which happened in 1947. This is something that happened in Missouri in 1941. I'm going to be talking about that. He wrote a book about it. And, all this alien stuff, it's getting more and more, I think it's becoming more accepted with just the general public. It's going to be very interesting to see where all that goes over time. Join us tomorrow for that conversation. We are talking with authors Rob Gutro and Monique Toosoon. We're talking about Haunting of Wilson Castle. The book is available now, and you can go over to Amazon, pick it up. You can also go to your local booksellers and go there and say, hey, can you order this book for me? More than likely you can. Also, if you want to get the book and support GhostBox Radio, go to ghostboxradio.com, GhostBox Book Club. There you can use the Amazon affiliated link as well. Let's talk about Elliot here. So, Rob, what do we need to know about Elliot as a spirit in Wilson Castle now?
Well, one thing that I thought was very fascinating was that Elliot did not die as a child. He died as an adult. And Monique has been interacting with him as a child since she first started going to the castle. So I wondered why he came to the castle as a ghost. And in the book, we discuss ultimately when we reveal the 100-year-old secret, which we're not going to do right now, but it's tied to that. And there was conflict and there was resolution. We were able to bring about the resolution in this book by connecting different ghosts that needed to be connected. But Elliot came back to Wilson Castle because he had good memories of growing up there, and he needed to find that resolution, and that was the place that he decided to go. And when he was a child, because that's how he was when he lived there.
I've run into that before with a spirit, not me personally, but it's a known spirit over at the Palmer House, which is about an hour from me, and that one of the spirits there lived to a ripe old age, but when he shows up, he often shows up as a child, and I think it's for the same reason. And it's kind of cool, I think, that you could, if you wanted to, in the afterlife, kind of show up whenever you want, or show up how you like, maybe how you felt you looked your best, maybe, or stuff like that. I really like that idea that you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, when I connect with spirit too, they often show up younger. Like my dad always shows up in his mid-30s. I don't know my dad in his mid-30s, but sure. Yeah, they have that ability. So I'm wondering what Monique is going to look like in the afterlife.
Fabulous
and glittery.
Right, exactly. Like that's a question.
It will be way too hot for me to be in drag because I'm going down, not up.
So what about the other spirits? Do you ever do you have an idea of why the other spirits are at Wilson Castle? Like any particular reason or anything?
Ley lines. You know that there's a huge portal there. There's spirits that pass there. There's children that come to the castle. It's like a big beacon of light in the afterlife there. And I think it just attracts a lot of energy from around it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and they all have their own reasons for staying, which we were able to kind of figure out. We were able to puzzle that. Sarah, the mother, Sarah Johnson, was on a quest to find someone, um, and reunite with Elliot. There was and John Johnson, who to me appeared as kind of an embittered figure. Monique, I think you said that every time you've been to the castle that he is the one that has attitude, or
usually when people describe an angry spirit, it's John. Usually they describe him as smelling like urine too. He has a foul odor. He also likes to make himself appear a lot bigger than he is. So he like lurks in corners, and I feel like he grows into these corners and just kind of tries to scare you, but he's really not scary. He's just a mean man.
Is the giving off the odor of urine, is that also meant to be like an intimidation factor then?
I don't know. I honestly don't know where the urine smell comes from. It's related to him. Maybe that's what he smelled like in life. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to scare people away, or could be many reasons.
I mean, none of them could be good. Let's put it that way.
And I get the impression that he came back to haunt the castle because he was the one that was responsible for coming up with the idea, I guess, and building it. Squandering Sarah's money. And I think that he wanted to ultimately live his entire life there. And when he died somewhere else, he came back to the castle because he says, it's mine.
Oh, wow.
And that's his attitude. And that's why I think he's also so angry.
And so he still believes that this is 100% his, and that any sort of changes or anything should be probably brought to his attention or whatever else.
He certainly doesn't approve of the book.
Oh, doesn't he? So
because we went back in June, and we had a book party, and we talked about the book, Monique, Lexi, and I, and we revealed some of the things that came forth, and he heard it. And then later he let us know that he was really not happy.
Like, are you able to kind of share any of that? Like, what does that look like when he's not happy with something that you did?
So, as you know, ghosts can make me feel their pain.
Sure.
Yeah. So, in this case, he was using his negative emotional energy to make me feel pain. Not that he encountered, but what he could impress upon me. And the reason he was able to come through my defenses is because I'm still in grief for the loss of our 3 dogs. So I was weakened.
Yeah.
And, it was, that's how he was able to do that. So that's a note for everybody going on a paranormal investigation. Make sure you protect yourself. Try and protect yourself as much. If you're grieving, if you're dealing with anxiety or depression, know that you may be vulnerable to whatever. If you run into an angry ghost, whatever they want to make you feel,
because they could pick up on that stuff very easily.
Sure, yeah. Unfortunately, Monique is a beacon of light. So she's very positive. She's got that positivity, and that actually adds as a protection to everybody else.
Nice. Do you all do, like, when you do events, do you stop and, for those who are interested in taking part, do like a grounding or intention setting before you do your investigation, or do you just kind of just let them know if you do it, you might want to protect yourself before we really get into it?
Lexi likes to talk about her spiritual hygiene, and she tells everyone really how to, cleanse themselves prior, before, leave it at the door, don't take it home with you. And we're really good at it, telling guests that if they're feeling overwhelmed, we can help them. Rob's given people crystals before to help them. But we're ultimately there to protect them. And I think that we do a good job at explaining that to them.
I bet you do. We have about a minute and a half left here. Monique, do you ever get, you pretty, like, being a beacon of light, so in that case, you never get like any spirits attach themselves to you or anything?
No, I think I have like a spiritual parade behind me. Everyone always tells me about the spirits that are following me, so I don't see them. I'm aware that some of them are there, but I've got a parade behind me apparently. But they're all good. They're all good spirits. Negativity doesn't tend to follow me anywhere.
And that's good. I mean, and I can't see how anyway, because like you said, I see you are just very positive about everything. And I think your approach to this field is one of wonderment, but also just fun. And same with you, Rob. I mean, it's really fun to see you both in your element, even if it's just by reading this book, hearing about it. And so I really hope that someday I have the opportunity to see both of you investigate and enjoy that, because I think that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be really neat.
Absolutely.
Real fast before we head out, I just want to once again say that Rob said that he is reopening pet reading booking until August 30th. Appointments are booking in the fall and will be done by email or phone. So go to robgutro.com or petspirits.com for details. My dear friends, we're at the end here, but folks, go out and get Haunting of Wilson Castle. It's a great book and a great read about spirits and just paranormal in general. Thank you both very much. This was great.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us back.
Absolutely. I hope to do it again soon. And Rob, have fun on Coast to Coast tonight.
Thank you.
I mean, or tomorrow. I don't know when it is, quite frankly, because it's late.
It's both.
So enjoy. All right, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.